3, chapter 25, verse number 37. And this verse says, thus, because he is completely absorbed in thought of me, the devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary systems, including Satyaloka. He does not desire the 8 material perfections obtained from mystic yoga, nor does he desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. Yet, even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys, even in this life, all the offered benedictions. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The vibhuti, or opulences, offered by Maya are of many varieties. We have experience of different varieties of material enjoyment, even on this planet. But if one is able to promote himself to higher planets like Chandraloka, the sun, still higher Maharloka, Janaloka, and Tapoloka, or even ultimately the highest planet, which is inhabited by Brahma and is called Satyaloka, there are immense possibilities for material enjoyment. For example, the duration of life on higher planets is far, far greater than on this planet. It is said that on the moon, the duration of life is such that our 6 months are equal to 1 day. We cannot even imagine the duration of life on the highest planet. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that Brahma's 12 hours are inconceivable, even to our mathematicians. Wow. These are all descriptions of the external energy of the Lord, or Maya. Besides these, there are other opulences which the yogis can achieve by their mystic power. They are also material. A devotee does not aspire for all these material pleasures, although they are available to him simply by wishing. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee can achieve wonderful success simply by willing, but a real devotee does not like that. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught that one should not desire material opulence or material reputation, nor should one try to enjoy material beauty. One should simply aspire to be absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord, even if one does not get liberation, but has to continue the process of birth and death unlimited. Actually, however, to one who engages in Krishna consciousness, liberation is already guaranteed. Devotees enjoy all the benefits of the higher planets and Vaikuntha planets also. It is especially mentioned Bhagavatim Bhadram. In the Vaikuntha planets, everything is eternally peaceful. Yet a pure devotee does not even aspire to be promoted there, but still he gets that advantage. He enjoys all the facilities of the material and spiritual worlds, even during the present lifespan. Wow, wouldn't it? Amazing statements being made here. Okay, Canto 3, Chapter 25, verse 37. There's thus, because he is completely absorbed in thought of me, the devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary systems, including Satyaloka. He does not desire the 8 material perfections obtained from mystic yoga, nor does he desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. Yet, even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys, even in this life, all the offered benedictions. Hmm. Okay, so this is a very interesting statement here because the devotee is satisfied simply by engaging in devotional service, although by the pure service of the devotee, all types of material advantages and material, let's say, uh, material, let's say, conditions are offered to him. He's not really attracted to those. His attraction is simply the service of the Lord with love and devotion. So these attractive things are called vibhuti or opulences, offered by Maya, and there are many varieties of these vibhuti or opulences. But here it says, but if one is able to promote himself to higher planets like Chandraloka, the sun, or still higher, Maharloka, Janaloka, and Tapoloka, or even ultimately the highest planet, which is inhabited by Brahma and is called Satyaloka, there are immense possibilities for material enjoyment. Okay. For example, the duration of life on higher planets is far, far greater than on this planet. It is said that on the moon, the duration of life is such that our 6 months are equal to 1 day. We cannot even imagine the duration of life on the highest planet. Okay, so now we know that the moon is inhabited by living entities. This is something that the so called scientists and space explorers have not understood yet. they they talk so much about the moon, the moon, the moon, but they don't know anything about the moon. It is actually it's a heavenly planet, and the moon is a place where demigods regularly go to drink somarasa. Somarasa is a uh, supernatural drink. When you drink it, it increases your lifespan for 10,000 years. So many, uh, souls or, supernatural beings go there and drink the somarasa on a regular basis. Because when you drink somarasa, it increases your lifespan for about 10,000 years. That's on the moon. Right now, the scientists believe that there's just dust on the moon. They have no understanding of what's going on the moon. And although they claim that the moon is like the closest, what you would call, planet, they've never really gone there yet. They've sent different rockets and claimed that it landed on the moon. Now they're getting information of what's on the moon. But the whole thing is a hoax. And they're never even going to go to the moon, even though it might be claimed to be that the moon is the closest planet to the Earth. Even that is wrong. The moon is farther away than what they think. Uh, and they have never really gone to the moon. Why don't you look this up? They claimed that there was a moon landing, I don't know, 50 years ago. Why don't you look that up?
What do you want me to look up?
And was there a moon landing by space exploration?
1960. What's the end of 1960s?
1968.
1969, July 20th.
Yeah, they claimed they went to the moon. What do they have to show for it? 6 stones. They're in the what's the name of that place? The Smithsonian Institute. If you go to Smithsonian Institute in Washington, you will see 6 stones that uh, they claim the astronauts who went to the moon brought back. It's the whole hoax. Those stones just like that look like any stones on the Earth. Also, why don't you look that up?
So it says here, yes, there was a moon landing
Yeah, okay.
on July 20th, 1969. NASA's Apollo 11 mission successfully landed astronauts Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin on the moon, while Michael Collins orbited in the command module. Armstrong became the first person to walk on the lunar surface, famously saying, "That's one small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind." This achievement was followed by 6 more crewed lunar landings by NASA between 1969 and 1972, with Apollo 17 being the last. The moon landings were major accomplishments in space exploration, advancing technology, science, and our understanding of space. The evidence for these missions includes photos, videos, rock samples, and data collected by the astronauts, as well as ongoing independent verification by multiple countries and observatories.
It's all lies. All that is lying. It's not true. They went to the moon, or they went to the moon, I think, 60 years ago, right?
6 times, yeah, at that time.
Right. How come they haven't gone after that?
50 years.
50 years ago. How come they haven't gone again?
Maharaj, several other countries also sent spacecrafts and all different vehicles there, not not human beings, spacecraft.
Yeah, but what do they have to show for it?
Nothing.
Nothing. A few rocks.
Is it possible that the moon that they are talking about and the moon that the scriptures are talking about different?
That's possible. Yes.
Okay.
The whole thing's a hoax. It's nonsense. You see. Why would they put up a hoax like this? To show something that validates the fact that they're spending billions of dollars, right? But are they going to the moon today? If they landed on the moon 50 years ago, how come they haven't gone to the moon again? You see, I mean, you have to be practical. If you're a businessman, and you spend, and look up how much they spent for the first lunar exploration. I think it runs in the millions of dollars. They're not stupid. They're not going to spend money on something that's impossible. Right? What do they show for having gone to the moon? 6 rocks in the Smithsonian Institute. That's it. Nothing else.
$150 billion.
Oh my God. Yeah. And they have nothing to show for it. At least they could have come back with, precious metals or something like that. They came back with just 6 rocks that look like rocks from the earth, you know. The and by the way, sometimes there are these what do you call it? Uh, these uh, space rocks that fall down on the earth, you know, because of comets. Right? So they could have gotten a few of those rocks and said, "Well, we went to the moon." The whole thing is a hoax. They spent billions of dollars and they have nothing to prove that they did it. Just like, okay, let's look at this. So-called Christopher Columbus, uh, comes from, I think, Italy, and lands on the New World, meaning, I think he landed first in somewhere in Florida. And then he goes back to Europe and says, look, there's a whole continent. And what happens? Right away, all the rich people, they invest in building boats that can go to the new world, that was discovered by, Christopher Columbus, so-called, right? I mean, it's already been there. They're inhabited by so many indigenous people, but for the Europeans, it was a discovery of a new world, right? So right away, so many boats were built and sent to the new world, and explored and exploited. They destroyed the Inca nation and the Aztec nation, and they got tremendous wealth and gold from both of those nations. Right? Uh, so they had something to show for it. But here they go to the moon, and what they have to show for it, they have 6 rocks in the Smithsonian Institute. That's it. They have nothing else to show for it. That means each rock is worth $100 million or something. And those rocks look like rocks on the earth. So the whole thing is a hoax. Now, of course, if you say that, oh, everyone will say, oh, no, we have proof. What proof do you have? Right? You have 6 rocks, that's all, nothing else. The whole thing is a hoax, and it's just to uh, prove that they are spending the millions and millions of dollars of so-called space exploration, and people believe it. They see 6 rocks in the Smithsonian Institute that look like rocks on the Earth, and they say, "Oh well, this is the proof." But what else do they have to show for it? Why don't you look up what achievements have they achieved by going to the moon?
And Krishna Maharaj,
Yeah,
maybe I don't know this because I haven't been as interested in the moon exploration, but they do send videos from, they say, like, from the moon we've taken a video of the earth. Like that could be from the space also. Uh, but they do send these videos and pictures.
they do that in movies also. they can do. They can. They can make a movie of the moon landing, but it's actually a what you would call a facsimile moon landing. And that's what they said when they actually showed pictures of the first moon landing. They said it's facsimile uh, pictures of it because there's no cameras on the moon, right? And they didn't carry moon cameras with them when they so-called landed on the moon. Cameras are, these big cameras, when they make movies, they have these big cameras, right? They didn't have those cameras when they landed on the moon, 50 years ago. Uh, anyway, uh, there's a lot. I mean, when you have such a big lie, people are afraid to think that the whole thing is a hoax.
They're going again in 2025 and 26 with the proof, including one woman and
Well, let's see,
but in today's world, Maharaj, it is a little hard to believe it is hoax because multiple countries have sent their spacecrafts. My question is it if it was real, the moon landing, is it somehow conflicting with what we read in the scripts or scriptures?
Yeah, when there was the so-called first moon landing, Prabhupada saw it on television and he said, I don't think they went to the moon. Because the moon is a heavenly planet.
Okay.
It's full of opulences. That's the demigods go there to drink somarasa. So that means it's not, a planet just full of dust.
Or is it possible? I'm just speculating. Correct me.
Yeah.
Is it possible that it's exactly what is described in the scriptures, but for human beings, when we go there, it just like looks like a rock, looks like a rocks and all that.
Yeah,
For
that's
human
fine.
beings. Okay.
That and also, but I think according to Shastra, Maharaj, moon is much more farther than the sun.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what I.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it says in Shastra.
Yeah. Then there's no way you can go to the moon, right? You cannot go to the sun. But haven't
And
gone there.
also here, like the moon, the duration of life is such that our 6 months are equal to 1 day on moon.
I'm sorry.
Here it says, it is said that on the moon, the duration of life is such that our 6 months is equal to 1 day on moon.
Oh, okay.
So that means that
So
moon
big.
has to be so far.
So far and so big, right?
Yeah. I think, yeah, I mean,
See, if you're gonna lie, you have to make such a big lie that people are afraid to admit that it's a lie.
Right. But here there are multiple countries involved. That's the question. If it is
the countries that are
right? That's why they have the South Pole or North Pole, they visit something.
it's difficult to put both
both the together.
like our
So many countries, yeah.
this time.
That's why if you're gonna lie, you have to make such a big lie that people are afraid to admit that it's a lie.
No, I think the question also here was when there are conflicting countries that do not like each other,
Yeah.
also are sending. And why are they not, rather than sending, why are they not calling? Because then, let's say I hate.
They have to validate spending millions and millions or billions of dollars for so-called moon exploration. And if the whole thing is a hoax, then there would be an uproar of of the people. It's like you're spending all our money for nothing, right? And by the way, they have nothing to show for it. They went to the moon, but there's nothing to show for it. When Christopher Columbus he went to, let's say, the New World, right away, all kinds of entrepreneurs in Europe built boats, big boats to go to the New World, and they went to the New World, and they brought back a lot of gold by raping the Inca and Aztec cultures. And they had something to show for it. What did they have to show?
Because they didn't find anything, that's why they stopped going. That's what they're saying here.
Right.
So because
how did you not find something on a gigantic planet?
No, but that may be what Prabhu is saying. Like, no, that means like it's like Krishna was here. Did everybody understand Krishna was the supreme personality of Godhead? No, because there is a Maya that covered the people that are on the other side of consciousness. So, in the same way, is it possible that moon, the definition of moon as described in the Shastras, is so opulent, also has such a great technology that people that are not qualified go there even by chance, that they don't see anything.
Also, if this was a hoax, especially countries.
Look, the main thing is this: they don't show anything to prove that they went to the moon. All they have is 6 rocks in the Smithsonian Institute. That's it. They have nothing to show for it. Christopher Columbus, and then after him, all the people.
Like it goes to my point, right? But let's say if they don't find anything, what can they show?
How can you not find anything?
No, that's where my question is, Maharaj. Like, is it possible that moon has such a technology? Because we're talking about people with highest consciousness go there. Obviously, people with low consciousness go there, but they don't see anything.
No, but that means you're accepting that there are people on the moon.
But that's our explanation to corroborate between two contradicting viewpoints, where one says that moon that we know according to Shastra is so opulent, people with great consciousness go there, drinks Somrasa, its lifespan expands, and so on. And then these people claim that they have gone. Let's assume that there are two possibilities. One, there is a lie, and everybody is making that lie bigger lie. The other possibility is that even if, let's say, because we have also no way to prove that it is a lie. Rather than taking that conflicting view, could we settle saying that, what, even though these people may have gone, either they may have gone to the wrong moon, or even if they have gone to the moon, they don't get to experience the opulence that Shastra describes because their consciousness is not there. So as a result, they are not exposed to the opulence of the moon that great personalities.
Okay, let's put it like this. Let's say you're an investor and you invest on going to the moon, and all you do is show 6 rocks. What kind of investment is that?
No, that's why the moon landing stopped. That's what they're saying. Is that because they didn't find anything meaningful?
That's
And
impossible. That's a gigantic planet.
But
How can you not
again,
find anything?
we're mixing two things, Maharaj. You're mixing the Shastric proof to what is they're claiming as the actual proof. The actual proof of the moon, as they understand, is that it's just nothing but rocks.
That's not possible. It's anywhere where there's rocks, there's all kinds of special minerals and so many valuable things. And they come back with nothing, with a few rocks, and they're just ordinary rocks. They're not like special rocks.
Yes,
but one point, the Neil Armstrong himself, he said they did not land. So
no. Listen, we listen to that one with Maharaj. You should listen to that. It's not Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin. Maharaj, we played that one. This is where, I think, because if we take this, I'm worried that if we take this, view, then we will alienate some other people because we also don't have a way. And we cannot tell a lie just because if you want to play, I will play this Buzz Aldrin's view because I think we should all listen to that Maharaj. Because he didn't say that they didn't go to the moon, but he definitely said the video that you saw was definitely a video that was
a production.
Yeah, but he didn't say that we didn't go to the moon because they have no way to show that, but they wanted to give people, what it.
Oh, that was not like that video.
No.
Oh,
No.
okay.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, that's why there are definitely people even now that disagree that people have landed in moon. They're because
Look, they after 50 years, they have not gone back to the moon. Right now, they're saying they're going to go back to the moon. The whole thing is a lie. It's very simple. I mean, put yourself in a position of an investor. Now, would you invest in moon exploration? No, because there's nothing to show for it, right? If are you willing to invest in the next moon exploration?
but people are investing now, right?
Because India also recently went large.
They are investing right now again because after the SpaceX and Elon Musk.
They went to I think South Pole.
And in fact, in the next couple of years, they plan to send some.
No, they didn't. Well, they say they had a moon landing.
Yeah.
Not astronauts, right? Not people. Yeah. But we don't even know if that's true. They have nothing to show for it. Like, you have to be practical. Once Christopher Columbus discovered so-called the New Worlds, immediately there were many investors in Europe built boats, and sent them to the New World, and they found the Inca, nation and the Aztec nation, and they robbed them, killed them, and robbed them, and came back with a huge amount of wealth, right? What did they show for going to the moon?
No, so another question comes up is the countries like Russia and China who are competitors to the America, they would love to prove it is a hoax, but they are also in line with America, and they are also trying to go there. And so why everybody is in line?
Because it's a great way to make money.
They also think there's some opportunity.
Right.
Whoever cracks it first.
Right.
might get something.
But according to Shastra, unless you are qualified to enter these planets, you cannot even go.
Cannot even land there.
Yeah. So if we take Shastra as 100% Paramana, so then we have to believe that what they're claiming as landing is not a real moon.
Exactly.
Or they went somewhere.
Somewhere else they went, and it's not the real moon.
I don't know.
You also read, right, Prabhuji, like that moon is like farther than the sun.
Yeah.
So in that case, then there's no way they could have gone to the real moon. If that's
Yeah.
true.
According to that, the moon that the Shastra is talking about is a different.
So this confusion is coming up in especially my mind whenever I hear both the things. Okay,
Mhm.
one from the news and one from our shastra.
Moon is a heavenly planet.
Yes.
Demigods go to the moon to drink somarasa. When you drink a glass of somarasa, it increases your lifespan for 10,000 years, right? It's a heavenly planet. And that's why Prabhupada said he watched the moon landing on television. And after watching, he said, I don't think they went to the moon. Some of his disciples left the movement because he said that. Because just because you see a moon landing on television, that doesn't mean it's real, you know. And then Buzz Aldrin, he says that it was staged, the moon landing.
No, you didn't say the whole thing is staged, Maharaj. This is where I don't want you to be, because again we had this conversation in the temple, and some people left the temple, because of this conversation. Because there is no way. All I'm saying, Maharaj, is that my request is, this is a very controversial thing. Rather than taking a view, I mean, I'm with you that my way in my head is that I think the moon that they are talking about, the moon the Shastra is talking about, is completely different. And that's how I settled in my head, and then not contemplate too much on it, because there's no way for us to prove, there is no way for them to prove, because we're talking about two different dimensions, I believe.
And Prabhupada having doubts on that time is very, very reasonable, because something at that scale happening for the first time, it's hard to believe. Right? When
No, but Prabhupada is also right when he said they didn't land on the moon, because it's not the moon that he knows.
You mentioned
Yeah, they did not land on the moon. That is true. Even now, I think that is the truth, is that they did not land on the moon that the Shastra is talking about.
But even for a common person, when something at that big scale happens for the first time, it's natural to have doubts as well. Like if someone says, okay, they landed XYZ on Pluto or something, hard to believe on the first instance.
Look, it happened so-called 50 years ago. In 50 years, they haven't attempted it again. That's proof that they didn't go at all.
But let's say, Maharaj, 2 years from now,
Yeah.
they again say, okay, we have successfully landed, and then they show videos and so on. What is going to be our argument?
Well, we'll wait and see.
No, but they either they'll stage it or whatever. They're going to show it, because they're going to say again, just like if they faked in the past, they will fake it again. But
They recently went.
well, America corroborated. It's like different countries. I don't know. There may be
The Indians said they sent something to the moon recently, right? Not with astronauts, but the rocket or whatever, and landed somewhere on the moon. But okay, they went. Let's say they went to the moon. What do they have to show for it? Right.
They don't have any strong proof.
Like if I go to Alaska and I research, the what's on Alaska, I'll find, gold. I'll find all kinds of things, and come back and, become rich. What they have to show for going to the moon, right? Are they finding, precious metals or whatever? We don't. They don't do that. They don't say that they came back with something fresh. They just show some rock. That's all. But they have to somehow or other make the people believe that they did it. So they come back with some rocks. Right? You have to be practical. I mean, if you were an investor, would you invest in moon exploration? I don't think so, because you're not going to get anything back.
Yeah, at that time they invested equivalent to $150 billion. And then all they got was 6 rock accidents. $150 billion.
That's why they didn't try to go back again.
Yeah, they definitely didn't find it worth it all.
Okay, well, anyway, we won't argue about going to the moon because they didn't go to the moon. Haribo. Okay, let's go forward. What else are we reading here? Okay, so this verse is Canto 3, chapter 25, verse 37. Thus, because he is completely absorbed in thought of me, the devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtainable in the upper planetary systems, including Satyaloka. He does not desire the 8 material perfections obtained from mystic yoga, nor does he desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. Wow. Yet, even without desiring them, the devotee enjoys, even in this life, all the offered benedictions. Wow. We should meditate on this verse. It's very interesting. I say, everything that is desirable, the devotee doesn't desire it, but yet he enjoys it, right? Because he's sincerely engaged in devotional service. So the purport says the vibhuti, or opulences, offered by Maya are of many varieties. We have experience of different varieties of material enjoyment, even on this planet. But if one is able to promote himself to higher planets like Chandra Loka, the sun, or still higher, Maharloka, Janaloka, and Tapoloka, or even ultimately the highest planet, which is inhabited by Brahma and called Satyaloka, there are immense possibilities for material enjoyment. For example, the duration of life on higher planets is far, far greater than on this planet. It is said that on the moon, the duration of life is such that our 6 months are equal to 1 day. We cannot even imagine the duration of life on the highest planet. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita that Brahma's 12 hours are inconceivable even um, to our mathematicians. Wow, that's a big statement. These are all descriptions of the eternal energy, external energy of the Lord, or Maya. Besides these, there are other opulences which the yogis can achieve by their mystic power. They are also material. A devotee does not aspire for all these material pleasures, although they are available to him simply by wishing. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee can achieve wonderful success simply by willing, but a real devotee does not like that. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has taught that one should not desire material opulence or material reputation, nor should one try to enjoy material beauty. One should simply aspire to be absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord, even if one does not get liberation, but has to continue the process of birth and death unlimitedly. Actually, however, to one who engages in Krishna consciousness, liberation is already guaranteed. Devotees enjoy all the benefits of the higher planets and the Vaikuntha planets also. It is especially mentioned here, Bhagavat Bhadram. In the Vaikuntha planets, everything is eternally peaceful, Yet, a pure devotee does not even aspire to be promoted there. But still, he gets that advantage. He enjoys all the facilities of the material and spiritual worlds, even during the present lifespan. This is giving us a lot of confidential knowledge. So, the question of moon landing and all that, it's not really important because we're not going to go there.
Because the devotee doesn't
Care for elements.
Yeah, I mean,
Desire for any of those.
and people make, like Elon Musk and others, they make these crazy statements that, well, we're going to have to build condos on the moon because we've destroyed our ecosystem on the Earth.
Mhm.
They make statements like that, and completely stupid statements,
Sure.
and they're never going to do that, right? I mean, Elon Musk is not going to get into some rocket and shoot that rocket toward the moon. He's not going to do it, you know. But he'll get stupid people that'll volunteer to go on a rocket to the moon.
Yes.
The whole thing is a hoax. However, here, what we're reading is the truth. It says the duration of life on higher planets is far, far greater than on this planet. Okay, that right there is a major statement.
Mm.
For example, the duration of life on higher planets is far, far greater than on this planet. It is said that on the moon, the duration of life is such that our 6 months are equal to 1 day on the moon. 1 day on the moon is equal to 6 months.
So,
Do the scientists say that?
Yeah,
that also actually is a good test
maybe
here.
they should have said that, hey, days are like really long, or they didn't say.
No. Ideally, that means if they landed and they came back, they should have come after 6 months. If they took a day on moon,
Right.
or whatever,
If they've seen a full day.
yeah, if they've seen, let's say, even if
Yeah.
they have seen like whatever
is
equivalent to an hour, then it should
But
have
we don't even
been.
know, right? How much time did they spend? Did they say we spent a day? I mean, those are things. If they said they spent a day, then they should have come back greater than 6 months time.
Yeah, but, well, we we
These
don't
are
have that data,
details.
but this is another data point, Maharaj, like wherein like if they landed on the moon and they explored for, let's say, even 3-4 hours, they'll be there, right? Equivalent. They won't just like land and come out. So that means like a quarter day. That should be like, that means like after 1.5 months they should have come.
These details will be there. How long did they spend? Look at.
And scientists don't know this. I mean, if you tell a scientist, hey, do you know that on the moon, the duration of life is such that our 6 months are equal to 1 day?
Hmm.
They would say, you're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about.
They're 6 months older body, but it still happens within the same amount of time. Or they would have to be down there for 6 months. Well, it's been
They're aged by 6 months.
yeah. I don't know.
Well, if you take that one statement, it is said that on the moon, the duration of life is such that our 6 months are equal to 1 day. Okay. So someone who lands on the moon and stays there, let's say 5 days. What would happen to their body? You should think about this. It says that on the moon, that our 6 months are equal to 1 day. So basically, they would get younger, right?
So it all means is it just takes 6 months to rotate by itself and come back to its position. Nothing to do with age.
What is the moon?
But yeah. So we are saying one day
One
because
day for Earth is that.
the Earth just rotating by itself and to come back to its position is one day, whereas moon, if it's taking 6 Earth days, 6 months of Earth days, right? So that means it's going very slow.
It's also much bigger, or it's much bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can be smaller and go slow, or it can be bigger as well. Yeah. But that's all it means. It has nothing to do with the age. Age shouldn't change. If you're calculating age only in terms of the Earth, irrespective of area, if you're calculating the our age in Earth age, doesn't matter.
But if you stayed there for one day,
Right. That means you become six months old.
older, exactly.
Yeah.
You've experienced 6
Yeah.
months of
Right,
time
right.
as you have on the
Right.
I
Prabhu, I have a comment.
Yes, go ahead.
So in the Nectar of Devotion, Prabhupada writes, I'm reading from that. He says that though the modern astronauts go to the moon with the help of spaceships, they undergo many difficulties, whereas a person with mystic perfection can extend his hand and touch the moon with his finger. So, is Prabhupada like open to the possibility that they might have gone, although it is not? Uh, I mean, a devotee is not interested because there are so many siddhis that we can get, and the modern in this like section at many places, Prabhupada also mentions that there are many siddhis that yogis used to attain through like yogic siddhis, and now the modern science is trying to achieve those with great difficulty, although they are easy to do with yogic siddhis and all. So the point is like Prabhupada writes, though the modern astronauts go to the moon with the help of spaceships. So this is the like section of that line that I'm referring to. So although I know that at other places Prabhupada mentions that they might not have gone to the moon, but here he don't want to go into that conflict, that okay, let it be whatever it is.
So Hare Krishna Maharaj, and I just texted something on the the question, chat. See, Bhagavad Gita is a spiritual science, and the planet Moon. I'm just trying to compare both. Like there is a planet Moon, which is a physical science, and there is possibility of many moons in the spiritual world.
Okay, well, what's your point?
So, is there a difference between physical planet versus a spiritual planet?
Well, the main difference is a spiritual planet would be eternal, and a material planet would be not eternal.
Yeah. So the Elon Musk can never land his starship on spiritual planet.
Well, the present astronauts are not aiming for a spiritual planet.
Yeah, that's the point, right?
Yeah. Well, they would never be able to reach a spiritual planet in the first place.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. So,
But moon is not a spiritual planet.
the physical moon that we are seeing, that's my understanding, right? And maybe I'm wrong. So,
It's a heavenly planet,
Yeah.
but not a spiritual planet. Right?
yes.
yeah.
Just like that.
Yeah, just
So
like a
my
sun.
body, see, my body is physical, but that I have a spiritual identity with Krishna, right? These are two different things.
If there are two different things, then there comes a no need of saying that it's a hoax because they went to different physical planet.
Okay, if you look at things practically, you are never going to go to the moon. None of us are going to go to the
Even
moon.
the physical one, Maharaj,
What's that?
even the physical moon that we are saying, so-called moon that we are saying,
We're not going to go. You're not going to go. I'm not going to go. So really, whatever speculations they give about going to the moon, it doesn't really impact our life. Right. So I don't think we should worry about did they go, did they not go. But always remember, they have nothing, let's say, substantive to show that they went, except a few rocks. That's it. They didn't come back with, like Christopher Columbus and all the people that went from Europe to America. They had something to show for it. They had gold. They had so many things. But so far, even though they went to the moon, let's say 50 years ago, up until today, they have nothing to show for it. It's 6 rocks. That's it.
Unfortunately, we have to pay them through the tax.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. Here, like the stats for ChatGPT, like is the moon referred to Vedic Shastras and the moon landed by scientists same or different? I just wanted to see what it
what did it say?
So in the Vedic scriptures, the moon is described differently from the scientific understanding developed through modern astronomy. While there are some overlaps in description, such as the idea of a luminous body in the night sky, there are significant differences in the conceptualization of the moon's nature, purpose, and characteristics. Here is the breakdown of the key distinctions. Number one, nature and position of the moon. Vedic perspective. In the Vedic literature, moon is often described as celestial, almost divine entity with a special role in influencing earthly phenomena.
Influencing what?
Earthly phenomena.
Oh, okay.
According to the Puranas, the moon is located within different levels of the cosmic structure, often depicted as higher than the earth and closer to the heavenly realms. This understanding is more aligned with a metaphysical and spiritual cosmology.
Now, as soon as you say metaphysical, it's something that you can't really measure.
Mhm.
That word, that prefix meta, look it up. What is meta?
Beyond physical visibility. Metaphysical. What is metaphysical? Because I don't want to change the screen.
What does the word meta mean?
Referring to itself or to the conventions of its genre.
What?
No, just search for metaphysical. What does it mean? Physical.
Metaphysics.
Self-referential.
Meta?
Just meta means beyond, about, or
Yeah.
self-referential, often used in various fields to indicate a higher level of abstraction.
Higher level what?
Abstraction.
Abstraction
Abstraction. That means it's not real.
and a concept.
Yeah. Whereas the modern scientific perspective is that astronomy describes moon as a physical celestial body orbiting Earth at an average distance of about 384,400 kilometers. It is viewed as a lifeless satellite composed mainly of rock and dust and reflecting the sunlight.
That's not true.
Yeah, so definitely huge difference in that understanding.
Yeah.
And
Then
also from the Shastra, right? It says that the taste are food. So which the growth comes from the
Juice.
juice, right?
Vegetables.
If that is what Shastra is saying, it cannot just be a absolute nothing. It doesn't have any.
correct.
Yeah, Chax Prabhu, that is what I was referring to. Like these are two
Yeah, the
different.
15th chapter. In the 15th
Yeah.
chapter, Krishna said.
So the Bhagavad Gita is a science of spiritual science. I mean, I'm just preaching like here again, but it's, and what we are talking in schools is the physical science.
So is there a difference between what the Shastra is saying and physical science?
Yeah, I mean,
That's
most
what
of this.
it appears to be.
So which one is the truth? What do you think? Which one is the truth?
Very good question.
Yeah.
You're not saying anything, Prabhu. Which one do you think is the truth?
You can say both are truth,
So
different
both
definitions.
actually has their own level of truths.
Well, which one has more superior truth than
Yeah,
the other?
spiritual definitely lasting. I mean, we wanted to be a transcendental life, like so. Spiritual definitely be a higher truth.
So that would imply that we would trust the spiritual truth and not really trust the lesser truths.
Yeah, it's most of it's a relative subject, Maharaj. Like, that's what I understand, right? So we all wanted to be a spiritual bodies. So we wanted to believe in the spiritual truth and then seek towards it.
All right. So then it comes down to who do you believe?
Hmm.
The modern scientist or the Shastra? And that's why when we read Shastric evidence, oftentimes it is diametrically different than the so-called scientist explanation. And Prabhupada talks about this. He talks about this. I mean, we could look it up. So it comes down to who do you believe? Who is an authority or a bigger authority? Who do you believe?
And what is absolute truth, right, Maharaj?
Okay, but the spiritual knowledge is a priori the truth. It's self-evident truth. And material knowledge, well, it's defective because it's perceived by uh, let's see, um, our senses, and our senses are imperfect, right? You know, the telescope and all these things, they're all imperfect. They don't give perfect knowledge. So therefore, uh, people that follow, Sanatana Dharma, they trust the Shastric evidence, or let's say Shastric knowledge. And as scientists, they depend on their own exploration, their own, basically, what is the scientific method? It is observation, experimentation, and then you come up with a theory, right? So everybody has four defects. We make mistakes, we're easily illusioned, we have a cheating propensity, and our senses are imperfect. So that means that no matter how many telescopes or microscopes you have, you're going to still not be able to see properly what's going on. So therefore, who do we believe? If we believe the Shastric evidence, sometimes there's big differences between the Shastric statements and the statements of the scientists. So then we're in the dilemma: which do we believe? Right. So, in my experience, we should believe the Shastric evidence. You know, the scientists, they discover so many things, and then later on, they start changing their theories.
And they keep changing after many years.
Yeah,
because they're
yeah.
discovering more and more.
Yeah. So that means it's not perfect knowledge at all.
The, the nature of physicality is subject to constant change. Even if the scientists they catch something, that means will change also.
Yeah.
Actually, from my own scientific experience, things will continue to change only, and which is the agreement with our Shastra. The physical world is subject to change because the findings look subject to change. So when it's spirituality, Krishna says it's eternal, doesn't change at all.
Yeah, it is
So
absolute.
these are the truths, they will stay as it is.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
But your body is always changing.
Yes, physical
dimension.
So that means that you you have to believe that you have an eternal soul.
Yeah.
So you have an eternal soul that never changes, and you have a body that always changes. That's how people get mixed up, right?
Yeah. The problem is when the people get attached to the body,
Yeah.
they attach to the moving thing, then they think that that's the reality.
But that reality is always changing.
Changes.
Because they don't believe in the spiritual dimension.
Yeah,
They might
exactly.
not
So
know,
until then,
or they may
keep
not
going
believe.
with whatever is moving.
That's
No
why we
matter-
that's why we say old is gold.
Oh,
Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, like, no matter what amount of progress we make on the physical dimension,
it'll change.
it has no value in the ultimate sense. That's what Shastra is clearly establishing for us. I mean, that's what
Who's establishing?
Shastra basically is saying that no matter what advances we make on the physical dimension, it's more progress on the illusion. So it's
Wait a minute. We got to check your statement there with Chop.
Chat GPT.
Yeah. Yeah. That is checking your statement with Shastra. We have to check.
Chat GPT.
So the Bhagavad Gita 2.16 emphasis on the truth and Satya.
Ultimately, we should believe the the statements made by bona fide devotees. The acharyas.
Mhm.
So when Prabhupada he watched the moon landing, 69. He watched the moon landing. After watching it, he said, "I don't think they went to the moon." Now, some of his devotees left right after he made that statement. Some left, but since then until today, they have not tried to go to the moon. Right. So after 50, 60 years, so much time has gone by. Now they're claiming that they're going to try and go to the moon again. So we don't really know if they're going to try to do it. So Prabhupada's statement stands. He said, "I don't think they did it."
Krishna in Bhagavad says of the non-existence means physicality. There is no endurance, Maharaj. Like maybe
Nothing is eternal.
But
Based on the body. Yeah.
It might look the truth, but it won't endure.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, let's see. Today's takeaway is it is said in the Bhagavad Gita that Brahma's 12 hours are inconceivable even to our mathematicians. Wow, what a statement that is. Even our mathematicians that have so much knowledge and they have so many different things, they can't even imagine the duration of life of Lord, 12 hours of Brahma's life. It's a tremendous statement. These are all descriptions of the external energy of the Lord, or Maya. Besides these, there are other opulences which the yogis can achieve by their mystic power. They are also material. A devotee does not aspire for all these material pleasures, although they are available to him simply by wishing. By the grace of the Lord, a devotee can achieve wonderful success simply by willing, but a real devotee does not like that. Well, there it is. A real devotee does not like that. Lord Chaitanya has taught that one should not desire material opulence or material reputation, nor should one try to enjoy material beauty. One should simply aspire to be absorbed in the devotional service of the Lord, even if one does not get liberation, but has to continue the process of birth and death unlimitedly. Actually, however, to one who engages in Krishna consciousness, liberation is already guaranteed. Devotees enjoy all the benefits of the higher planet and the Vaikuntha planets also. It is especially mentioned here, Bhagavatim Bhadram. In the Vaikuntha planets, everything is eternally peaceful. Yet, a pure devotee does not even aspire to be promoted there, but still he gets that advantage. He enjoys all the facilities of the material and spiritual world, even during the present lifespan. Well, we have to believe what Prabhupada says. It makes sense also. So, we don't have to aspire to go to the moon. See, let me tell you what's going on. Today, because science has not come up with any really new findings. They've only come up with two things: electromagnetism and gravity. Those are the only two, and even gravity, they don't really understand it completely.
They discovered. They didn't invent. They
Yeah.
just discovered that these two things.
Yeah, so they have to come up with something new. So what they do is lie. They're just lying. They're just making things up, things that you cannot measure yourself. Like if they say, well, we found this new element, but it only exists 1/10,000th of a second. Now, how can you validate it, right?
Mhm.
There's no way you can validate that. But they come up with these statements now. They're coming up with statements that are impossible for an ordinary person to validate. Like we went to the moon, and you can't validate it. You can't. Yeah, how would you validate it? You'd have to go to the moon to validate it.
Flag.
If they go to some planet, Maharaj, and they want to call it moon, so that's their problem, right? Like they're
Yeah.
just making up something. But
Mm.
Shastra clearly says it's a heavenly planet.
Yeah.
So they can call it moon, whatever they are going or doing.
Yeah.
That makes no sense because they are just making up everything.
We are worried because they're using Sastra moon name for them.
True, but we know the clarity. The moon is a heavenly planet. They cannot even enter to that moon.
Yeah.
So, but they are going somewhere and they are calling moon. That's their way of presenting things because they want more money or whatever.
Or they're lying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
It means it's
Hare Krishna Maharaj, I was thinking about this the other day. Because people, I mean, in general, scientists also, they accept that anything that they say, like human being, like you have an end, right? Like after 100 years, you're going to die somewhere within some. Plant also, they accept that it has an end. Animal also, they expect that it has an end. But they think the universe is always expanding.
Yeah.
Like everything you see, you think, okay, it has an end and you accept it that. So that is reality according to, I mean, that is real according to Shastra. But the universe they think is always expanding.
Because they only see it in a current time, right?
Because you think, okay, it is going to live forever or it is going to exist forever. But according to Shastra, that is also not true, right? We have the four yugas, it also has anything that you can see and perceive has an end. They accept that in some dimensions and some dimensions they don't. So they're contradictory.
Actually, if you watch different video,
Yeah.
they will reverse it.
Yeah.
Even
They
scientists will say
confuse you.
there's a
Yeah.
dark hole eating the planet.
Yeah.
Actually, it's shrinking up. Depending on the line light.
Maharaj,
Oh,
you just said that so how do we measure if they find something which is like 1/10,000? They claim these things and we cannot measure, so we cannot believe, right? There is no tangible way for us to.
Oh, you have no choice. You have to believe what they say.
Because they make it so hard to understand. You say, oh, okay, maybe there is something.
So the same thing can be asked. The same thing can be asked by non-devotees, materialists, saying that okay, you guys are saying that there is spiritual world which is 3/4 of the creation, and there is 1/4 of the creation is material world. So how can we? I'm not able to see it. I'm not able to measure it. How can I believe it?
You have no choice.
You cannot teach PhD to a child.
So when they say that, what do we answer?
Well,
And if we say
what? No. This Prabhupada. This is a good question you just asked. Very good. Prabhupada said, "Okay, well, what's your explanation?" And the person said, "I have no explanation." I said, "Therefore, you have to accept what we're saying."
Just like a moon landing.
Uh, I was thinking that if, let's say, some astronaut goes to the moon and come back and he says that, no, I went to the moon, then we can ask him, oh, so did you had fun there? Would you like to live there? So, and
First of all, he's not going to come back. It's a one-way trip to go to the moon.
so then he wouldn't have any answer, right? Like then we can say, okay, so you wasted your time and energy.
He's not going to come back. Believe me, there's no way he's going to come back.
If it is too good, why would he even come back?
No, but they're really videos, not the moon. But if you saw the recent Sunita Williams and all their videos, like they're stuck in space for
No.
months. And they recently, because they thought they were going to come back the next day.
did they come?
I don't think they came back. Or maybe that happened.
What are you talking about?
There's this crew that they sent to space, Maharaj, because of their return journey. They were supposed to come at a certain date, and that hasn't happened because of something. So they're
Really?
trying,
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
it is,
Yeah.
and they just sent a video. There's like 4 people like in their spaceship, as if they're having the best time of their lives. Like I think they recently released it, just to show. I think they want to make people also feel good about it. So they just sent that video that as if how she's living her life. Oh, this is where I'm doing my workout. This is where I'm eating my food. Oh, this is where I'm looking at the earth. So they sent that video. I don't think they've come back yet. So if they come back, we would have
I
known.
think they're taking help from different.
Yeah, they wait for that. Elon Musk.
Elon Musk, Starlink, not SpaceX.
SpaceX. Yeah, they're trying to use their rockets to come back, but they make it sound like it's a lot of fun because they have to say it, because or else who will fund you again? Or else there'll be a lot of people complaining.
Yes.
Oh, why are you?
First of all, they're inside like such a
See that video?
small
Fun.
cubicle. And they have to be in a constricted space with a certain posture only.
And the way they
And,
sleep also is
Yeah.
It's hellish. It's hellish.
They're scheduled to come back on February 2025.
Yeah. They thought they'll come back now, but I think they
That's
might
a
be.
new schedule.
Yeah.
But I think there was some there is some technical issue. They should have come back by now,
Yeah.
but they got stuck. They're stuck there now. So now they're
Orbiting the Earth.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been like what, 4 or 5 months, a long time they've been stuck.
Now they're going to send another.
How much food they have? Food and all?
I think they
They're
have,
eating their stool.
no, they have.
Stool is very.
They might have the technology. Like they
Yeah.
recreate the process.
They're doing fasting every.
Originally scheduled.
There's no what do you call it? There's no there are no shops.
There's no Amazon.
You never know.
No, but look, stool is edible, right? It has a lot of proteins and carbohydrates, things like that.
Pigs survive on it.
What's that?
Pigs survive on it.
Yeah. Because
Pigs,
it's
yeah.
great, right? Nature grows.
That means it's edible and it's nutritious.
You have no choice.
So, how much food and water did they take with them?
They showed that in the video of Maharaj. They showed, look at, they have like 6 different varieties of food and like 5 different varieties of snacks. They said, oh, we have enough to survive.
For how long?
One
I
more
don't
year
know.
of
I don't
extra they put. Wow. And that too, so many 4 people have to eat. I mean, our kitchen,
So
we
they
should
pack,
figure out.
they'll vacuum out that food is like, the way they pack is very different.
Like a capsule.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Literally, it's like what Ray
I sent you a
Kurzweil
video.
is eating. Like they.
Well, let's see. Nowadays, they claim they've done things that no one can actually validate themselves. So, because we can't build our own rocket and then go to the moon. So So either you accept it or you don't accept it. That's all. There's some things that, just like in spiritual life, there's certain things that you can accept because there's no way you can do it yourself or validate that it's possible. So when you do something that cannot be experimented, then you just have to believe it. You have no choice. That's why, do we actually know that someone went to the moon and came back? Well, we think so because two astronauts went to the moon and came back, right? But there are doubts about that. And let me tell you where the doubt comes in. When they first went to the moon and came back, and Buzz Aldrin, whatever his name is, Armstrong, then right away they started advertising. Pretty soon we're going to sell properties on the moon. Already our
It's still there, some of those companies.
yeah.
By real estate.
Yeah, and by 1975, we will sell properties on the moon, and there'll be condos, and none of that happened, right? Oh, it was just pie in the sky. So therefore, trust no statement until it actually happens. Right?
Now it's all about the Mars, Maharaj.
Yeah.
To build a new world in Mars.
Yeah, well, no, they said, oh, we're not going to go to the moon because there's no water there. Now we're going to go to Mars. And then later on, they said, well, no, we just discovered that there is water on the moon. So when they have this, back and forth theories, it just proves they don't know what they're talking about.
But I think your statement is the one that we can go with, Maharaj, which is it doesn't matter for us because we are aspiring for, it's not even.
We don't want to go to the moon.
We don't want to go to the
back
moon. We don't want to go to the Mars. We don't ask for 8 perfections of Siddhi. We don't even actually desire to be elevated to the kingdom of God. All we care about is devotional service.
And we don't even desire to go back.
Yeah. So I think that is the key point.
They don't believe
That's
this.
a very big point. Not even to the kingdom of the God.
Yeah.
That's a very big point.
But we experience the kingdom of God.
Yes,
Here.
I think that is why starting.
I have some clarification question is that because in the Bhagavad Gita we are saying in that verse you'll come to me.
Hmm.
Right, and also in that same verse there's a word called liberation. So you'll get the liberation, come to me. And Krishna does emphasize that
He will give it to you, even though we don't want it. He'll give it to you.
These are all byproducts.
Byproducts.
Yeah, there's a verse that says that liberation is at waiting at the lotus feet of the devotee. But he doesn't even want that. He just wants to
Liberation
be.
is waiting.
Yeah, that's the lotus.
The devotee just wants to engage in devotional service, and that's it. And that's the real substantial thing is devotional service to the Lord. Everything else is not actually substantial because it's going to change, right? But the service to the Lord is eternal. Therefore, there's sat and asat. So the devotee engages in things that are sat, that are eternal. Devotional service to the Lord is something that becomes an eternal asset that cannot be taken away from you. Everything else can be taken away. Your house can be taken away, your body can be taken away, and so forth. But devotional service to the Lord becomes an eternal asset, never be taken away. So that's what we should be concerned with. Haribo, Srila Prabhupada.
Yeah.
Sunita Williams is supposed to go for only 8 days. The mission is only for 8 days.
But
But now they got stuck and they want 27 days. And they are not able to come back.
No, but it says, according to this message that you posted, that after 127 days, she reached successfully.
No. They thought they were going to come back in a couple of days. That's when they released that video. And that also didn't happen.
Now she's scheduled to come in February 20th.
Oh, okay, because this.
So at that time, they thought they were going to come back. So that's why they were like, it's like a victory.
This is a present moon exploration.
Not moon.
No, just a space station to back.
They're not able to come back from the space station because of some technical issue. And they thought, okay, they're going to come back in a couple of days. So they made them record a video and send that how happy and how they're very excited exploring. But then that expedition also didn't happen. So now they are stuck for even longer.
And they give you the reason why?
I don't think they give you the details. To the layman, they don't give you the details.
Their project was only to be in the space for 8 days. But now they're 127 days and still counting, but they still didn't come back.
Well, you need water, you need food.
They will die, man.
I sent Prabhuji the video, Maharaj. You should watch. I think they have enough supplies when they go with like maybe 1 year's worth of supplies.
But we can experience in our 24-hour flight how terrible it is.
Yeah.
Think about it. So many
So they
days.
can move. What they say is like even your bone density and also because of lack of gravity, you actually your bones also suffer. So they have to work out. So she was showing how she works out there.
Their life will be miserable. Right?
That's what I'm saying. It's miserable to be there, and they make it sound like
It's all a hoax because
Propaganda.
what's the benefit of going to another planet? Your body is not made for living on another planet, right?
Perfect.
It says the land always on the other side is green. This is a disease.
We should take care of this planet.
Yes.
Not worry about other planets. Okay, well, thank you very much.
The Maharaj, long time, last year you had played that Buzz Aldrin video.
Yeah.
If you want, we can play that.
All right, go ahead.
Just
Let's hear
for
it.
the-
Okay. I remember very clearly. I think anybody who was alive at the time does. I remember my parents waking me up and we went and we watched you guys land on the moon, which was
No, you didn't,
what?
because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation. See, you associated what you saw with.
I have very hazy memory.
Yeah, I know.
Well, what we saw was we all were gathered around the old Turcotte radio and listened.
Talking about how many feet we were going to the left and right, and then I said contact light, engine stop.
It was
a few other
exciting.
things, and then Neil said, Houston, Tranquility Base, the Eagle has landed. Man, how about that?
That was very exciting.
Not a bad line.
Yeah. So were you self-conscious about all the? I mean, the entire Earth, is watching and listening to everything that you guys do. Were you self-conscious at all about what am I gonna say? What if I say something that's kind of stupid? It's in the history books forever. Like, I want a cookie, or
You got it. You got it.
You're worried then.
We were focused. I was afraid that Neil might say, "Hey, you better go out first and think up a couple of lines to say when you step on the moon."
Right. So that's a huge responsibility. Now,
right?
You were not the first man to walk on the moon, but you've actually talked about this. You were the first man to relieve himself on the moon. Is that true?
That is correct.
That is correct.
No. But not on the moon. You don't want to.
You didn't know.
You not want to unzip.
Right.
No,
Right. That would be stupid.
But we got a little device that.
I don't want to know about the device. Actually, in the footage, you're the one that's bunny hopping. You know what I mean? Why were you doing that? Because you look at the footage, and you were the astronaut that started jumping up and down on the moon and doing some kind of a bunny hop.
Not bunny hop, kangaroo hop. People did.
You mess up these technical terms.
You got to keep those people in the southern hemisphere happy. Those,
What was the point of that? Was that a scientific experiment, or were you getting too much gas in the helmet?
I thought it was a good idea. I thought it was a good idea in front of the TV to bounce around and to demonstrate how easy a guy could move around or a gal could move around on the moon.
What did you eat up there? You always hear about. We were told that you guys had Tang. I think you didn't have Tang.
We didn't call it that. We had an orange drink, but some of the guys didn't like the orange drink, so we cut it with grapefruit juice and we call it orange grape.
But as kids, we were told the astronauts drank Tang. You must also have Tang, and now I find out that that's a bunch of baloney.
No, we had whatever went into Tang went into the orange drink. So,
Oh,
but
okay.
NASA gets a little sensitive about commercializing things, Coca-Cola and that.
Right. They don't like that kind of thing. What did you actually eat? What kind of food were you having up there?
Well, it wasn't gourmet. You don't want to have crummy things because the crumbs go all over the place.
Right.
Dried peas.
Right, you wouldn't
dried peas would not work.
Or like a
Caviar would
pound
be good.
cake, a dry pound cake. You wouldn't
No
eat
good,
that
no
'cause the
good.
crumbs are everywhere. Cake, and suddenly they're in trouble.
And they spoke about the animation in the very beginning, that it was animated.
It's a landed, not it. I heard that in the beginning.
Not alive or something
Not
like that.
it.
I don't want to be presumptuous
I will
here.
start from the beginning. That's where it says. No, listen. They will say like,
I remember very clearly, I think anybody who was alive at the time does. I remember my parents waking me up and we went down and we watched you guys land on the moon,
No,
which
you
was
didn't. No, you
Not
didn't.
it. Landing is not it.
Because there wasn't any television. There wasn't anybody taking a picture. You watched animation.
anyway.
Oh,
So
he
you
said no, you
associated-
didn't.
No, you didn't.
No, he said we watched you guys land on the moon. He said no, you didn't. No,
Because it was an
Because there's
animation.
no television. There's nobody taking pictures.
Picture.
Nobody
Who will
taking
take the
pictures.
picture?
You watched animation.
Animation.
Yeah, but later he said like everything else in terms of what how they ate.
So
So
he said what you saw
It was animated.
animated movie.
yeah.
Landed means not it.
No. We watched you land on moon, and that's when he said no, you didn't, because we gave
So
you.
you all watched live when you were landed on the moon. He said no, you didn't. You didn't. There's no television. There's no pictures.
Who will play it?
Yeah, you watched an animation. So they watched the production. I mean.
Yeah, but he didn't say that he didn't
Yeah.
go to the moon. So that's why I want to make sure, like Yeah, my point earlier, Maharaj, was that if we just pick on that word and then we go in one direction, then our credibility could be impacted with that, because he didn't fully say, that they didn't land or they didn't go to the moon. So he's still telling maybe whatever the big lie, but we cannot use this video to say what we are saying. That's because then we lose our credibility and in terms, and it doesn't matter. In a way, it doesn't matter to what we are trying to communicate because it's a completely different dimension of knowledge. So yeah, exactly.
They have nothing to show for going to the
moon. Yeah.
That's the telltale thing. And now they're saying they're going to go back again to the moon after 50 years. So why didn't they go for 50 years? Because they have nothing to show for it. You're not going to spend billions of dollars and not get anything in return.
That is a sound argument, right?
Yeah.
Like if there was something valuable, they would have gone immediately.
Oh yeah,
Why did they
absolutely.
nothing? Because they go to wars with like so much money.
If there is so much, they find it.
They found
Everyone will go.
Exactly.
10,000 year life is there.
Yeah,
Everyone will go.
they definitely did not. Meaning, even now, that's what will happen. Another 2-3 years, as long as Elon Musk has some money, he'll fund it. After that, again, the program will also stop.
Haribol.
Yeah.
Lot of exploration.
Hare Krishna. Long day and long day.